In today's video, I'm going to show you how to blend objects in Inkscape using blend modes, and how you can use them to create lighting effects, shadows, color interactions, and much more. Blend modes are one of those small features that can completely change how your designs look, especially when you start layering shapes and colors together. If you've ever wondered how designers create glowing effects, color overlays, or rich shadows inside vector artwork, blend modes are often the secret behind it. I'll walk you through exactly how they work in Inkscape step by step, and I'll also show you some useful keyboard shortcuts that will make your workflow much faster. And if this tutorial helps you out, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Inkscape tutorials just like this. All right, let's jump right into it. First, we need two shapes that overlap so we can actually see the blending effect. Go to the rectangle tool by pressing F4 on your keyboard. Then click and drag on the canvas to draw your first rectangle. Once you have that shape, we're going to duplicate it. The fastest way to duplicate any object in Inkscape is by pressing Ctrl and D. This instantly creates a copy directly on top of the original. Now click and drag the duplicated rectangle slightly to the side so that both shapes overlap. To make the blending visible, change the color of the top shape. You can do this using the color palette at the bottom of the screen. For example, make the bottom rectangle blue and the top rectangle red. Now you have two overlapping objects, and this is exactly what we need to demonstrate blend modes. Next, select the top rectangle using the Select tool. You can activate the Select tool by pressing F1 or the S key. With the top object selected, open the Fill and Stroke panel by pressing Shift, Ctrl, and F together. This panel controls most of the appearance settings in Inkscape, including color, stroke, opacity, and blend modes. Inside the Fill and Stroke panel, make sure you are on the Fill tab. Scroll down and you will see an option called Blend Mode. This drop-down menu determines how the selected object interacts with the objects underneath it. When you open the drop-down, you'll see several different blending options. One of the most commonly used is Multiply. Multiply darkens the colors by combining them together, which is great for shadows or shading effects. Another useful mode is Screen. Screen does the opposite of Multiply and brightens the colors where the shapes overlap. This works really well for glow effects and light sources. Overlay is another popular option because it combines both lightening and darkening depending on the colors involved, giving a strong contrast effect. Color Dodge creates a very bright and intense glow by boosting the highlights, while Color Burn does the opposite and produces deeper, richer shadows. You can also try Soft Light, which creates a subtle lighting effect that looks more natural, or Hard Light, which produces a much stronger and more dramatic contrast. The best way to understand these modes is simply to click through them and watch how the overlapping area changes. Another important setting when working with blend modes is opacity. Still inside the Fill and Stroke panel, look near the bottom and you will see the opacity slider. If you reduce the opacity to something like 50%, the blending effect becomes smoother and often looks more natural. Designers frequently combine blend modes with reduced opacity to create realistic lighting and shading effects. While experimenting with blend modes, a few keyboard shortcuts can make the process much faster. Press F1 or S to switch back to the Select tool. Use Ctrl and D to duplicate objects quickly so you can test multiple blend layers. If you want to change the stacking order of objects, use Page Up to raise an object and Page Down to lower it. You can also send an object all the way to the top by pressing Home, or send it to the very bottom by pressing End. Remember that blend modes only affect objects underneath the selected object, so the layer order is very important. If you start combining multiple shapes together, you can group them using Ctrl and G, and ungroup them again with Ctrl-Shift-G. Here's a small trick that many beginners miss. Try duplicating the same shape several times using Ctrl and D. Change the color slightly on each copy, and apply different blend modes to each layer. When these layered shapes overlap, they can create gradients, neon glows, soft lighting, or complex shadow effects without using any filters at all. It's a simple technique, but it can make your vector artwork look much more advanced. And that's how you blend objects in Inkscape using blend modes. Once you start experimenting with different colors, layer orders, and opacity levels, you'll be able to create some really interesting visual effects. If this tutorial helped you, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Inkscape tutorials, design tips, and simple step-by-step guides. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.